Good morning, everybody. It's very nice to be here today. This is my opening slide with many of my colleagues listed there. And you can see that there are many of the colleagues in the room, Ben Yu, Rujna Baichi, and others, and of course, Tom. The role of CITRIS is indeed to bring 4 campuses together in the kinds of exciting research that we've heard about. I like to show this slide. When I became the acting director, I took a little bit of time to read a book that Rujna gave me, actually, a book written by Clark Kerr called The Blue and the Gold, and it fascinated me that when I look back on his autobiography, that he had the same mission of CITRIS, where the 10 campuses that represent the University of California work together in very nice ways, like the conference that we're having today. It is a bit of a moonshot because, as you know, just by reading the newspapers, that for the last 20 years there have been some considerable sibling rivalries between the various campuses. And so it's an honor for me to be leading this program where, with many of the colleagues in this room, we're bringing together 4 campuses to work on the kind of exciting areas that are shown in this slide. The CITRIS Mission, also shown on this poster, so you can't get away from it today, even if you would like to, is to use information technology, sensors, automatic control, robotics, these exciting breaking-edge technologies to combine the activities into these various areas, and especially in the healthcare activity that we're speaking about today. Here are the 4 campuses that are represented. For those of you that may be new to CITRIS, of course it's UC Davis, UC Santa Cruz, UC Berkeley, and the new campus near Yosemite, UC Merced, that I've had the honor of visiting many times. And it really does seem to be the case that Merced is accelerating very rapidly, again because of the CITRIS interaction and the ability to work with UC Davis and the other campuses. And as you'll see here, many of our projects are multidisciplinary, as Tom was indicating, combining engineering, and of course in many of these cases law and public policy become big parts of making the progress, and so it's a very multidisciplinary program. The retreat that Tom mentioned, that many of us, including Ben, were at, really is focused on these 5 strategic directions for CITRIS in the next 3 or 4 years. They include energy and the environment, understandably. We have a very large conference coming up in the middle of the summer, June 18th and 19th, that everybody's invited to in Copenhagen to look at the next environmental aspects of the Kyoto Accord. We have projects in firefighting and bridges. There are these sensors that we've talked about on the Golden Gate Bridge right now, measuring the sway of the bridge in the wind, and those accelerometer measurements could well give information for the structural engineers to add extra stiffening to the bridge. We have projects with IBM and Microsoft in services. We have projects that are running in India and Africa for developing regions. And of course, the main one for today is the telemedicine that you saw there. I thought I'd take a liberty, even though it's not really my field. This is based on some data that I took from The Economist several weeks ago, really triply emphasizing what Tom just said, that the national expenditure in healthcare is enormous. It's over $2 trillion in the year 2006, which is about 16.5% of the gross domestic product. And the estimates are expected to exceed $4 trillion, or 20% of the GDP by 2015. Now, folks in this room know this data better than I. It's rather astonishing when you see data like this. If that curve continued, by the year 2030, we'd all be working in healthcare, which is obviously not a sustainable area. So that triply reinforces the things that we've just heard from Tom and the Dean. Also, rather more, in a rather more dramatic sense, again, this is data from The Economist, so I'm just trusting it as a person that tried to bring these slides together, that there are many deaths that are involved in inaccuracies that are done, and injuries that are over 1 million. And so the article indicated that 30 to 40% of that $2 trillion is actually going into the kind of inefficiencies and failures and lack of communication. So as a result, this meeting today that my colleagues have called SCHEME really has stressed that even though the U.S. expenditure on healthcare is the greatest in the world, we still have a long way to go. And it's this collaboration between engineers and the medical profession and of course, law and public policy that I think is necessary to really address the kind of statistics that I've just glossed over here, and that I'm sure many of my colleagues in the room that are more experienced in this area than I will talk about. So this is my last slide. I wanted to thank the UC Davis Education Center in particular for hosting us today. It's lovely to see so many friends and colleagues in the room. I know many of you, you're all a friendly bunch. I'm sure that the discussions and the coffee and the lunch and so forth are going to be wonderful. So those are really my opening remarks. It's just delightful to be here. I'm really looking forward to some of the talks. And let's begin. Javid, I believe, is our next speaker. Thank you, Javid. Nice to